Hey, it's your boy S. Welch on the Wonder here again, and I've got a new video for y'all. This is something a little bit different for y'all. I want to switch it up. I'm just so excited for this new Batman movie. I get to see it tomorrow in theaters, bitch. I get to see it March 1st. I got my early tickets, my first fan premiere tickets. I got that shit as soon as they drop, man. Oh, I actually got 2 tickets. I'm trying to get rid of the other one, just don't know how. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to sell that to somebody. Last minute though, but anyway, I'm gonna make a tier list video of every single Batman media that I've consumed over the years for these past decades. And it's a lot. There's about 41 items here. And so I actually got some video games in here too, so I'm still keeping it video game related and stuff. So without further ado, let's get into it. First we have here is Batman 89. Where will this go? Actually, it's in the D tier for me. It ain't terrible, but over the years, I watched this over. Maybe I should move it to C. I'll see in a little bit, but like a low C. But over the years, I didn't really like this all that much even when I was a child back in the 90s. I understand the cultural importance and all that, but this was just kind of boring. And I think I did. Did I do it recently? I know I've watched Batman Returns more than this one. I think I've watched this since I've become an adult though. But yeah, I think it just feels it's kind of slow. It's too safe too. Really, Jack Nicholson, he does some Jokerish things, but he don't really feel a lot like the Joker, in my opinion. But yeah, like when he pulls out that super long gun and shit, and then has the balloons. Those feel Jokerish, but aside from that, the rest of it not really. It's hard for me to say comment more on this. I have not seen this movie probably in at least 6 or 7 years. It could be even longer than that, but I know I've definitely seen it since outside of the 90s when I first saw it. But yeah, I like Batman Returns way more than this one. Actually, I should probably just go ahead and talk about Batman Returns. So I like me some Batman Returns. Whoops. Batman Returns is pretty cool. Actually, I'm gonna move that to the B. Yeah. Batman Returns. It's definitely the most Tim Burton-y of the 2 Batman movies. This is actually a pretty fucking weird movie too. Michelle Pfeiffer steals this movie with Catwoman. She just does an excellent job. I love the costume design. I love that. Actually, that scene was just kind of dark. Like it had a dark humorous vibe to it. When she was killed. Well, spoilers, I guess. Not really for this over 20-year-old movie, but yeah, when Max Shrek pushed her out of the window, that was just so crazy. What could? I should probably find that clip and see if I could put it here.
What did curiosity do to the cat?
I'm no cat. I'm just an assistant. A secretary.
And a very good one.
Too good? Listen, it's our secret. Honest. How can you be so mean to someone so meaningless?
This power plant is my legacy. It's what I leave behind for Chip. Nothing must prevent that.
Okay. Go ahead. Intimidate me. Bully me if it makes you feel big. I mean, it's not like you can just kill me.
Actually, it's a lot like that. Huh? Huh?
You know, for a second there, you really frightened me.
Well, y'all can find it. But yeah, this is definitely just a fun movie. It's weird. I love the weird vibes. How I love that scene where she was revived by cats, and she seemingly has like a 9 lives power in it. Oh, and the scene where she's making her suit too. That was just an iconic scene. She just steals the show. And that iconic scene where she licked Batman's face too. Michelle Pfeiffer just did her damn thing in this. Yeah, just also another thing with these Tim Burton movies. I know he never read a single Batman comic. He said it himself. I can definitely tell. Yeah, he probably just grew up watching the Adam West Batman stuff. But yeah, like Batman does kill people, and it's like 2 people. He set a guy on fire with a Batmobile, and then he blew somebody up with a bomb. Actually, all of these live-action ones have him killed somebody. These ones. Even Christopher Nolan, which he established a no-killing rule for, there was actually somebody that died in 2 of those movies by his hands. But yeah, that just irritates me now every time I say it. It didn't irritate me when I was a child, but after I got to know the mythos of Batman and how he usually is, it bugs me every time. But that don't detract from the whole movie. Danny DeVito is also good as the Penguin too. Still a weird ass choice for Tim Burton to make of him, but it was still enjoyable. Yeah, I actually wish I could have seen more of Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, but still, damn good movie. I like it. What I don't like is Batman and Robin. Straight F tier. Honestly, I have not seen this movie since the 90s. I did like it as a kid. I mean, Forever and Batman and Robin are definitely made for children, especially this one. But I have seen clips of it over the years. And, yeah, it is still bad. Even though it's kind of fun to make fun of Mr. Freeze's ice puns. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! But honestly, yeah, I don't have much intention to rewatch this movie, and from the clips, it still looks so bad. And I don't know why they made Batgirl into Alfred's niece, I think it was. It was just it's such a weird choice. Like, wow, but I don't know. Was Gordon in any of these movies from '89 to the '90s? I can't remember what he looks like. Like the first Gordon I think of is Gary Oldman. If he was, he was definitely minor. But what I will give the Tim Burton movies and the Joel Schumacher movies is that they have the best Alfred. I'll still think I know. I forgot the guy's name who played him in the Christian Bale movies. Was it Michael Caine? I think it's Michael Caine. Michael Caine did a good job, but this OG Alfred right here, he has the feel and the look of what I imagine Alfred to be. Like in the comics, he looks closest to how Alfred usually looks like in the comics and cartoons, and he sounds like how I imagine Alfred would sound. But yeah, movie's kind of bad. Some of the worst. Was not the worst though is Batman Arkham Asylum. We got our first S tier right here, and this movie, I mean this game is the shit. I remember hearing about this like in late 2008, like it was going to be a tie-in with The Dark Knight from what I heard back then, and I remember telling somebody on an internet forum about this, and they were like, ugh, I doubt it's going to be any good or anything. But then, you know, in 2009 we heard more about it, and it's not a tie-in to The Dark Knight. It was his own thing. And we got Paul Dini, the writer of the animated series, back, and we got the voice actors Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill reprising their roles. And this game just blew everybody out of water, and like nobody expected this game to be this damn good. And then we got just a whole series of other Batman games after this, man. This had a perfect atmosphere, a good story, a lot of great fan service. I just love these Arkham games, most of them anyway. I want to skip about talking about the Arkham games for a second, and let's see. So I don't want to do all three of them in a row. And I want to talk about Batman Begins, another S tier in my opinion. This is my personal favorite live-action Batman movie. Christopher Nolan did a great job establishing Bruce Wayne and Batman in this movie. He honestly gave Bruce a better origin for the bat suit and the bat symbol than even in the comics. In the comics, a bat just flew into Batman's window. But in here, he made it part of his phobia. He had fell in a well when he was a child, and a bunch of bats came and rushed out and scared him to death. Like, he was traumatized by it. And then eventually, oh yeah, they even tied it into to the play he saw of his parents too. And then he decided to use that symbol, the thing that he was afraid of. He wanted to put that fear into the criminals of Gotham, which I think was pretty cool. That was pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I love the tone they established. I liked how they used Ra's al Ghul for the villain in this, and Scarecrow, two underrated villains. With Ra's al Ghul being my personal Batman villain, my personal favorite Batman. And Liam Neeson did a great job as Ra's al Ghul too. I also love the character of Gotham in this. I love there's so many good scenes in this movie too. I like the League of Assassins scenes, or League of Shadows as they're referred to here. But this does come to the part where the Batman no killing real cool. So that was a cool scene and all, but Batman did technically kill probably a lot of people in that scene when he started that fire. When he flew that stick off and started that huge fire and caused those explosions. He killed the fake Ra's al Ghul by doing that. And then the whole place blew up, probably killed some other ninjas as well. I didn't even notice this, like the first few times I watched this movie wasn't until somebody else pointed out to me on YouTube, like over 10 years later. Yeah, I think I saw this like in the mid-2000s or something like that. Before The Dark Knight came out. I definitely watched this before The Dark Knight came out. So I probably watched it like 06 or 07 on TV. I remember when this first came out though, I was in high school, and I asked somebody about the movie because I remember seeing trailers and stuff. He told me it was really good, and I asked him who the villain was. He said Scarecrow, which isn't wrong, but he kind of left out Ra's al Ghul, which is probably the main villain of this movie. I mean, Scarecrow's like a secondary villain. But yeah, this I couldn't imagine, like, this was so damn good. I mean, at this time, I was a sucker for origin stories too. This made me a sucker for origin stories, I think. But yeah, now I'm kind of just tired of it. Like, I know most of these characters' backstory, so I just want to like get into the middle of their story, which I'm grateful that this new Batman one is not doing origin. But I kind of wish it was later on in Batman's life, so we could have the Bat family and all that already established. Yeah, something. We still haven't got the Bat family since Batman and Robin. We deserve like a better interpretation of that, in my opinion. But yeah, this is a damn good movie. S tier material. And that tagline at the end, teasing the Joker, brilliant. I loved it. Alright. I want to talk about Arkham City. I'll go ahead and do this. Arkham City, another S tier game. probably even better than, yeah, it is better than Arkham Asylum. While I don't feel like the story is as good as Arkham Asylum, the whole Batman being poison thing isn't all that compelling. But the rest of it is really good. The best thing about this game is just the improvements they made. Having a more open world environment that's still confined and not too big. You have the grappling hook is better. You could almost fly around with it. You could glide with your cape and almost fly with your cape. Yeah, the gliding is incredible. The combat is improved. The gadgets are improved. Everything is streamlined. It's good, and it even has way more Easter eggs in this game. And I really love the Riddler trophies in this. Riddler segments are so fun in this. They're creative, and like I said, I love the Easter eggs and bosses in this game. And they even added more bosses too. The only bad thing about Arkham Asylum was the Titan Joker fight at the end, but other than that, good. So they definitely improved on that on Arkham City. While the boss fights still aren't incredible, except for the Mr. Freeze one. The Mr. Freeze one is so good, especially if you play it on hard mode. I have to play this game on hard mode every time from now on, just for that. But yeah, I do feel like with this combat system, it's kind of hard to make like a really good and compelling boss fight. I think they did the best they could in this game. And the Catwoman segments too. That was a really nice addition they added in as well. And I love the Mad Hatter scene in this game. I wish it could expand upon it. I think Arkham Knight did add a little bit more to it. They had like some platforming and stuff. But still, that was a pretty cool segment and a nice tease, a nice fake out too. Yeah. My favorite thing about these Arkham games are reading the character bios. In Arkham City, they also had like tapes you could listen to that Hugo Strange interviewed a lot of the inmates. Oh, those are really good. The Joker one was really good, and I think the Poison Ivy ones were really good. Those were my favorites. This game is so good. Oh, and the Calendar Man secrets. Oh, I remember when the internet first found out about those, and the internet are fast on shit too. Yeah, those are incredible. I had so much fun changing the calendar on my PS3 so I can listen to each and every one of those. It was so cool, man. Calendar Man is fucking crazy, man. Ugh. Man, but I think this game also has some DLC too. I never got it though. I got a little bit of I got the Game of the Year edition, which I think came with some extra suits, and that's it. I didn't get to play with the alternate characters. I think Arkham Asylum came with like a Joker segment. So the Joker stuff is okay, but the Batman, you'd rather play with Batman and it. Right, I want to skip around a little bit and talk about something else. Batman Bad Blood, our first animated movie on here to talk about. So Bad Blood, I recently rewatched this for this video, and I still think it's not that special. It's better than a bunch of other superhero movies that's been made over the years, but my bar has been set up a little bit higher over these years since I was a child. So overall, the story is just kind of okay. The writing and the dialogue is kind of missed a lot. I will say the cool thing, I like that ninja scene with the nuns. That was a cool scene, and I like seeing Kate Kane in this. I read a Batwoman comic some years ago, and that made me intrigued about the character, and it was kind of cool to see her in here. I don't like Batwing though; he just looks kind of lame. I don't like his name, and his outfit just looks goofy too. The whole thing with Talia and stuff was okay. Oh, and I like that Nightwing and Batman scene where they fought each other and he talked to him, but that's still not enough for me to put it higher than a D. I don't really care to watch this ever again. I've seen it twice now, and I think that might be it. Who knows, like in 10 years, or like, oh, was it still that bad? And I'll go and like watch it again. It's like, oh yeah, I still don't care for this. But yeah, as of right now, I don't think I ever watched it again. Something I will watch again though is Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. This is a good ass movie. Batman Beyond was is a very nostalgic cartoon for me back in the 2000s. Terry McGinnis is a good Batman. The passing of the mantle was done really well in Batman Beyond. And then this movie shows Terry against Batman's greatest foe, the Joker. And I love the twist they did with this, with Tim Drake and him and the Joker, and Terry, and the way that Terry takes down the Joker. Though I feel like the stakes could have been set up just a little bit higher. Joker did do something crazy. He did hijack a satellite laser and like destroyed like a good chunk of the city, but I wanted to see like just a little bit more of his craziness in this. Yeah, still a dope ass movie. Yeah, I feel like I should say more about this since I'm ranking it so high, but I can't think of much. I watched this maybe a month or two ago too. I don't know why I'm blanking out on stuff to say. While I'm talking about Batman Beyond, I'll go ahead and talk about the series. Like I said, Terry McGinnis takes up the mantle of Batman while Bruce Wayne mentors him into the role. So yeah, it's really good. I like the writing is the best thing about this, and Terry as a character. He's a fun character to watch, and the writing is really good. It's just the villains are the weak point of this show. It doesn't drag down the whole thing. I mean, the writing and Terry McGinnis and the characters wake up for it, but yeah, I just had to mention that. I did like that episode where Shriek like jumbled the sound waves in the whole city so nobody could understand each other. That was fucking cool. But outside of that, it was all right. I think I do remember one of his girlfriends ended up being part of the Royal Flush Gang, but I can't even remember much about that arc. Really, yeah, the villains are the weak point, but yeah, still a dope ass series though, and I like Max, voiced by Cree Summer in this. I think she kind of fell off like halfway through the series or something. For some reason, I can't think. I'm thinking that she disappeared. Like she doesn't make an appearance throughout the whole series. Like at the end, I feel like she doesn't appear. Correct me if I'm wrong, but my memory is saying that she doesn't last throughout the whole series. Like this, they just forget about her. But hopefully, I'm wrong about that because she was a good character. I wish I got to see more of her. I really wish one day we could get a live action Batman Beyond, but I feel like they're never going to do that. Outside of this series, I don't think Batman Beyond is making much appearances. I think he had some comments, I think, over the years. So I'm not sure if they sold well. People don't hardly talk about them like that. But yeah, oh, and the Justice League epilogue episode, one of the best episodes of Batman Beyond and of Justice League. I love that. Great ass episode. I almost feel like I should put this in A tier, but I'm not sure. Birds of Prey. I think I'll put this in a C. I like this movie, unlike a lot of people on the internet. I understand that this movie. I understand the people's. Can't talk. I understand why people have problems with this movie. It has a lot of issues that like those mid or early 2000s superhero movies had. Like the villain doesn't like to wear his mask until like the end of the movie, and like for a brief second. Cassandra Cain is completely different. I mean, they made a character called Cassandra Cain where she should have just had like an original name because she would just end up being a pickpocket. And Cassandra Cain's also mute too. Yeah, they do stuff like that, changing the character, having characters not really be the character. I think Mr. Zsasz is also in it as Black Mass's like thug, but he acts nothing like Mr. Zsasz. What else is another issue with this movie? That's all I could really think of. Oh, and Black Canary not actually using her powers until like the last bit of the movie too. Yeah, I understand people's issues with it, but it's still a well-written movie, and Margot Robbie steals the show as Harley Quinn. She does a good job as portraying Harley Quinn. Yeah, it's a fun, enjoyable ride. I like how the story is told out of sequence. Yeah, but I just wish it was a little bit more faithful to the comics, though. If it did that, it would be elevated, and I think a lot more people would enjoy it. Like, I'll put it in a B. I'll probably move up to a B tier if it was more faithful to the comics and stuff. Oh, and Elizabeth Mary Winstead was pretty cool as a huntress. They actually should have changed the name of this movie. Like, this is a long ass name. Just call it Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey instead of whatever shit they was doing with Birds of Prey and the emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Just call it Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. That's all they should have did. But yeah, decent movie. I enjoy it. Did not enjoy, however, Batman Arkham Knight. I almost want to put this in the F tier, but I don't think it deserves it just because of the fact that it is a fully functional game. It's not glitchy all over the place. It functions well. It doesn't crash. I don't think it ever crashed for me. I think I might have had one slight discrepancy. Other than that, the game works as intended. The thing that's holding it down, though, is that the game felt so much like a monkey's paw. I was so hyped for this game when it came out. We're gonna get a open world Gotham City. We get the whole entirety of Gotham City. Multiple playable characters. We get like a new original villain. We get the Batmobile, but most of that stuff ended up being so bad. Oh man. So we got Gotham City. We got full Gotham City, but they evacuated the city, so there are no citizens around. The town feels empty. There's just random thugs sprinkled around on the streets. I think there's less like Easter eggs in the city too. It just don't feel as alive as like just the downtown area in Arkham City did. And then the Batmobile. It was cool having a Batmobile, but they used it too much. You had to use it for platforming, for opening doors, for stealth missions, for tank combat. It was just too much. Nobody asked for all that shit. I would have been just fine for having it as just a traversal means. I mean, having it doing a little bit something else would have been fine, but making it a main component of the gameplay just brought that shit down a lot. And they even had like Riddler races with it too. Oh yeah, I follow this YouTuber called Christology. She actually dislikes Riddler just because of this game. I don't think it's fair. Riddler's was fine in Asylum and City, but I guess he was just so bad in this game for her that she just hated Riddler. I agree, the Riddler segments in this is it is the worst out of the Arkham games I played. I haven't played Origins yet, but yeah, so yeah, Riddler had like robots you fought in it and a bunch of racing challenges. I don't know why they decided that was a good idea. It was just bad, and a lot of the game, also the overworld, a lot of it just felt like it was filled with fluff too. I think it was like bomb detonation things and towers. I just wasn't compelled to do a lot of that. Unlike Asylum and Arkham City, which I try to 100% almost every time I play. But for Night, I couldn't even be bothered with most of it. Like, I saw there was Man-Bat in the game. I never even saw him in my playthrough. And Professor Pig, I never ran into Professor Pig either. That Professor Pig one looked cool though, but I was just so put off by most of the game, I didn't even find a lot of that stuff. Yeah, and the story too. The story was also a disappointment. They had to bring Joker back from the dead again by having him live inside Batman's head. Oh, they couldn't just let the Joker stay dead. Like, I was just sick of the Joker at this point. Like, come on, just let the man stay dead. Like, bruh. And they even had another plot line with somebody trying to make new Jokers by infecting like these 3 random people. And then I also think, oh yeah, I think there was also something at the end. Like, you fought like hallucinations of the Joker too. That was just too much again. Like having, That was too fucking much, man. You made me sick of the Joker. He's one of my favorite villains, but this made me sick of him. Actually, yeah, in recent years, they just put too much Joker and shit. Like the Batman the Three Jokers. I thought that was like an old thing they were doing, but it was new. And I'm grateful that the Joker's not going to be in this new Batman movie. Well, I haven't seen it. It's 3 hours long. He could make an appearance, but if it is, I'm pretty sure it's probably like an Easter egg. Or, no, I don't think it's going to be a cameo. It's probably just going to be an Easter egg. Something like they did in Batman Begins. But I would be perfectly fine if we don't see Joker show up in a live action, in 2 live action movies. Like in this one and the next one, he's not in it. I'll be fine. I'll be perfectly fine. Alright. Let's go to the next one. Catwoman Hunted.
Mama's trying to sleep.
Mama should be trying to stay out of prison.
If I'd known it was you, I wouldn't have hit the brakes.
This is the most recent Batman movie release. This came out just, I think this came out like 3 weeks ago, like at the start of February. This is a little surprise hit. I remember seeing it at Fandom. It has an anime art style. It's actually directed by somebody who worked on Cowboy Bebop, and you definitely see the influence in the opening credits and with the jazz soundtrack. This is a fun little story with Catwoman committing a big heist and also teaming up with Batwoman. I wrote a whole article about this on my blog, which I'll also leave a link to in the description, which y'all should check that out. And the name of my blog is Coffee at LeBlanc, so check that out. I talk about video games, music, movies, anything on my mind basically. Give that shit a shot. Yeah, as for this movie, I like it a lot. It actually turned out to be pretty fun. I like the character interactions between Selena and Kate. Oh, and I love that scene where I don't want to spoil it because this is a new one, but this is one scene with the two of them that is just it makes me so giddy inside. I had some the voice acting in this movie actually took a bit to get used to. It has very anime voice acting, and it was intentional because if you watch, it comes with 2 special features on there: a making of this movie and also like a Catwoman documentary. And in the making of, they said, anime has a specific voice direction he made sure to implement it in this. I forgot the guy's name, but I kind of wish he didn't and just treated it like how they do like in the Western animation shows like Young Justice or Justice League. Yeah, a lot of it just comes off as bad. Keith David though does a good job because he is an all-star. And then also Chester's voice actor makes an appearance in this, which also helps me ease into it. But it took me a little bit to get used to it first. I was looking, as soon as I heard it, I was immediately looking for the Japanese audio. I was wanting to watch this shit subbed since this is an anime, but there's no sub option. There's no Japanese audio option. Like, what the hell? You got an anime director on this shit, but you didn't get Japanese audio for this? How are the weebs going to cope with this? How are the sub only people supposed to manage to watch this? I managed to watch it though. I got used to it over time. Oh, and I think it was dope how they got a black woman to be Cheetah in this. A British black woman voices Cheetah in this. That was dope. Yeah, but it's turned out to be a really fun movie, and special features also are a big plus in this too. It's only 2 little things, but they're really good. Yeah, good movie. I highly recommend. Can't say I highly recommend this though. Batman Forever. I have not seen it since the 90s either, just like Batman and Robin, but I've seen clips. It still comes off as bad. Not much I can say. I do remember liking Jim Carrey as the Riddler, but it's just too campy and kiddie for me. I saw there's a cool shot with Batman running through fire. That shit looks dope, but other than that, maybe one day I'll go back and rewatch it. But for now, I'm leaving it in F tier. I was so Batman Gotham by Gaslight. I was so surprised by how good this is. Like, this is a good ass movie, man. I love me a good mystery too. Like, I read a lot of mystery novels when I was a child, and this is a good mystery story too. So this, I forgot all about this movie actually until I was watching Christology's video. Well, I logged into YouTube one day and I saw Christology uploaded a new video, and it was a reaction to this movie. And yeah, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about this. Maybe I should go give this a try. So I immediately went and watched it, and then watched her video afterwards to see how she liked it. And yeah, this is a good ass movie, man. So this is based on the first Elseworld comic with Batman being in the 1800s, set in the 1800s of Gotham, and he's trying to find Jack the Ripper, trying to figure out who the Jack the Ripper is, based off the real life serial killer of the same name, who ended up never being discovered. His identity was never discovered. He was never caught. Yeah, so it's definitely set in like in a Victorian area. You get see different takes on established characters, and the mystery is pretty good too. Although, in retrospect, how Batman comes to the conclusion of Gordon is just kind of made. I think he just, well, spoilers here for y'all. But when he does go into his house and finds that Gordon is the killer, which is fucking nuts. When he goes in there and finds that Gordon was the killer, he just kind of shows up at his house, which I'm not entirely sure why. It was immediately after he left the jail. Selena said she was gonna go and tell Gordon. She was saying, well, if you're not gonna say anything, I'm gonna tell Gordon. He'll be able to vouch for you. So I'm assuming that he thought that she was gonna go straight to Gordon's house, but instead she went straight to the precinct. I guess Batman knew that maybe he thought Gordon was off, so he went to his house first instead of the station. But I'm making kind of leaps. All they could have said, had a Batman say a line actually just to fix that. But yeah, I'm spending way too much time. I think something that's not that major. I don't think it is. But it was still a cool reveal, and he was like the last person I would think to be Jack the Ripper. But on a rewatch, if you go back, you'll see the clues in there, which I think is dope. Yeah, good ass movie. Oof. Actually, I want to put this like in an F tier though. Like this is even worse than Arkham Knight in my opinion. Yeah, let me put this shit in F. Batman, Gotham Imposters, Gotham City Imposters. I honestly completely forgot about this game until how did I remember? I was just looking for stuff to remind me of like I was trying to check like all the Batman games I played, and then this sort of popped up somewhere, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, I did play this shit. This was I think this was a free-to-play game. You play as like fake Batmans and fake Jokers in the city going to war with each other. It was a first-person shooter game, but it honestly sucked. The identity of the game just lacked style. The shooting was so, and the game was really ugly. It just felt lifeless and ugly. And the shooting, the gunplay wasn't that good either. It was a very forgettable game. It's so I honestly can't think of. Probably most people forgot about this game too. Yeah, so I'm leaving this in the F tier. Batman, Gotham Knight. This is a decent movie. I would say it's decent. This is also, well, Batman Catwoman Hunt is definitely more anime feeling than Gotham Knight. Gotham Knight has more stylized anime looks. I was thinking like maybe just the first part is anime, but actually no, all of the anthology stories in this are anime style. They're just vastly different styles. You first have one was just like, I don't know how to describe it. it's a very artsy looking anime style where like three children tell about their stories of how how Batman saved them one day. It's kind of cute, but I think it is the weakest out of the stories in this. You also have one where Batman, oh man, why am I forgetting? Oh, shit. There's a story where Batman was taking down Deadshot, was also cool. That has the most beautiful animation out of all of them. Yeah, Batman's taking down the Deadshot. Has some real cool imagery and animation. And then there's also a story with Batman learning how to deal with his pain. Like he wanted pain training so he can work through it better. He goes into the sewers, finds Killer Croc, starts hallucinating from toxin fear gas, and remembers that trip he made to India. This is probably my favorite one though. It's just so character driven. I like seeing like training montages, like how characters get to how skilled they are, and I don't see that often with Batman really at all. Batman begins with him training with Ra's al Ghul, but that was it. It's implied that he had like probably multiple masters, but we didn't get to see them. But yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, I think when this was coming out, it was advertised as being in the Nolanverse. It's not really. I think the India one makes like a slight reference to it, but these stories have really no connection to the Nolan movies. But yeah, it's good. I do remember watching this disc a lot because it comes with 2 episodes of Batman the Animated Series, and this was my only way to watch any Batman the Animated Series for a while since the 90s. Like, I think Heart of Ice was on it, and I don't remember what the other one was, but yeah, I watched it a lot. And I think there was also a special feature just talking about his Rogues Gallery that was also cool. Yeah, so I will probably just go back. Well, I could watch the Batman Animated Series anytime now, but this was still a cool thing to have. The Harley Quinn Show. This was a cool show. This is a cool show, man. I was so surprised how much I liked it. I was put off about it first by the trailer because it just seemed like the same. It just seemed like all those other adult cartoons, just filled with like profanity and sex jokes to make it funny, when that doesn't necessarily make things funny. But it actually has a lot of character. There are still those things in there, like after the first episode, like episodes 2, 3, I think, are like, has that vibe of like those other shows. And I was almost gonna stop watching, but I pushed through, and the rest of it is pretty good. It has some legitimate laughs. Clayface is annoying. Clayface, I not say King Shark, are kind of annoying, but I'll look past that for the other character interactions I like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy is my personal favorite of this show. And just the Real You episode is great, and the Catwoman one. I love seeing. I also was surprised that Sanaa Lathan was Catwoman. I didn't know this for a while, but until it was pointed out to me. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I like it. I was surprised to see Catwoman was black again. At this point, it's just kind of normal to see Catwoman as black. I think this made it like the 5th time. Or I think Zoe Kravitz might make it the 5th time though that the Catwoman has been black. The first time was with Eartha Kitt. Second time was with Halle Berry, I think. Third time was Year One. Year One or Catwoman, one of those two came first. It was disappointing that in the animated one they didn't get a black woman for her in the movie version of Year One. And then 4th time was Harley Quinn, and then 5th would be Zoe Kravitz. Yeah, so this is like the 5th time. Yep. Yeah, so this is the Harley Quinn show is the 4th time. But yeah, so that's really cool. Yeah, it has a lot of character and heart into it too. Oh, that Mr. Freeze episode was also really good too. I can't wait for season 3. Apparently Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn gonna be in an actual relationship, so that'll be different. Kite Man she deserved better than Kite Man. Yeah, what a lame villain. Not as lame as Captain, as the Condiment King, though. But yeah, good show. Can't wait for season 3. So, Batman Hush. I have to go to something. I have to talk about something a little bit disappointing here. A Batman Hush. Actually, let me readjust these for a second right here. So, Batman Hush. I would have gotten this a lot higher, I think, if it wasn't for the ending. I don't want to spoil things for people who haven't seen it, but basically, they just. I'll go ahead, man. Spoiler warning right here, but the ending by making the Riddler Hush was just a terrible choice. Riddler and Hush are 2 separate characters. You didn't have to make the Riddler the Hush. They just set out the whole thing for me. But I do like the everything else in the movie. The relationship between Batman and Catwoman, I like that a lot. It's just unfortunate that the ending was what it was. That would have probably made it push it up to a B. But I'm sorry. At least it's not an F though. So, Joker. This is a good movie, man. I remember all the hype for it when it was coming out, the controversy and all that. It turned out to be a really good movie, though. This is a very different Joker as well. They try to make it more grounded and stuff, which is like the common thing nowadays in Hollywood. When it gets hurt in Batman stuff, it has to be grounded and realistic, which was fine for this movie. Yeah, also dealt with mental health issues and stuff like that. While it did try to humanize the Joker and stuff, I feel like it still represented that Joker was a piece of shit. I don't think they did it trying to make Joker look too much like a hero. Joker still is a piece of shit though. I love that scene where he was in the hospital and he dropped and the gun slipped out of his clothes and onto the floor. Oh man, that was hilarious, man. Oh man, and that ending scene too, that was just, oof, it made you feel dirty. Man, it was good. I'm actually kind of interested to see this version of the Joker with Batman. As of right now, there's no word of, I think they did recently just announce the Joker 2, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember that wrong, if that was just a rumor. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him return. So here we go. Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Man, we got so many S tiers in here, man. My gosh. So, arguably the best Batman movie by a lot of fans. This movie came out in the early 90s as a companion to the Batman the Animated Series. This actually got a theatrical release. It was a limited release though, because the staff at the time was planning on making this just a direct-to-video thing, but they realized just how good the movie ended up being. So it was like, let us release this in theaters, but the decision was made at the last minute, so it couldn't be marketed that well and only had a limited release. I wish they realized it earlier, so it could have had a World War release, and actually did better. Because like for years, I didn't even know that Batman the Animated Series had any movies. I didn't know this movie existed until like maybe like 2010 or 2011, something like that. Probably like 2010, maybe 09. Yeah, maybe like 09, 010 I found out about this. But man, when I watched it the first time, I was blown away. This movie was incredible. I feel like I might have actually saw this on TV for the first time. I'm not too sure. Like late night on TV. I can't remember, but yeah, this is a credible movie. It's set in the same universe as Batman the Animated Series. It has all that, all the style that the series has. Excellent writing. This is one of the best stories ever. Andrea Beaumont is actually one of my favorite Batman characters now, and the mystery of who the Phantasm is, the twist at the end was great as well. I loved it. I really did. Oh, and this is also where I heard this is also where Mark Hamill established his lab for the Joker too. Excellent movie, man. I love it so much. Would definitely be watching this for the rest of my life. Batman Cape, Return of the Cake Crusaders. It was a decent movie. This is my first exposure to the Adam West Batman stuff. I've seen like clips and stuff over the years, but never actually watched a whole episode or seen the movie. So this is like my first experience with it. It's okay. It's definitely campy. It does camp better than Batman and Robin and Forever do. But it still felt kind of, I don't know, disjointed or boring in certain points. I don't know. It's hard for me to describe what my issue was with it exactly. I guess it wasn't fun enough. But yeah, I don't think I'll really ever watch it again. But it was still nice to get that exposure though. Batman, Soul of the Dragon. I think I'll put this as a C too, probably higher C. I feel like this is better than. Yeah, I'll put this. There we go. It's actually a good movie too. Arguably, this is a Richard Dragon movie and not a Batman movie. I mean, Bruce Wayne is in it, and it does kind of make sense for the plot why he's in it. This is like an exploitation, a martial arts exploitation movie where Richard Dragon Sensei is in danger, and he's trying to figure out who's going around doing this. He's trying to track down the Cobras and recruiting some of his old training buddies from back in the day, his other classmates from back in the day. And Bruce Wayne was one, also Lady Shiva, and some white dude I can't remember the name of, but he's not all that important anyway. But yeah, it was some. Oh, I forgot about Bronze Tiger. Bronze Tiger too was in this too. So yeah, this is really cool, like martial arts flick and stuff. I really wish they could have just called it, just put Richard Dragon in the name. I know they did this just for the Batman brand and stuff, but this is definitely more of a Richard Dragon movie. Oh, I'm mentioning that I actually left off Batman Assault on Arkham just because I consider it more of a Suicide Squad movie. I guess I'm just being selective here because since I'm allowing Soul of the Dragon, but yeah, so alright, you just have to forgive me on that. But just, if y'all curious where I would put Assault on Arkham, I would put that in the A tier. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. God damn, we still got some S's on this shit. So Batman Sub-Zero. Well, it's called Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero, but I just call it Batman Sub-Zero for short. This is another movie set in the Batman the Animated Series universe, and we get to see a solo Mr. Freeze movie, which is really good. Mr. Freeze was done dirty in Batman and Robin, but this movie entirely makes up for it. It's just, there's not a lot of Mr. Freeze stories I read, but this is definitely my favorite. Yeah, it has so much heart and soul into it, and actually Batgirl is probably more the protagonist in this than Batman. I feel like she gets more screen time. Oh man, and the ending of this movie is so sad too. I almost wanted to cry, man. I probably could have cried, man, if I was able to. Still, I haven't cried in so long. Man, but this is a really sweet movie. It is still so good after all these years, and I haven't watched it in a while. This is a good ass movie. Really watch this. I recommend this to everybody. It is so fucking dope. Batman Superman Apocalypse. I've read this comic first before I watched the movie, and this is a really good movie. It's about Superman and Batman teaming up. I think I think it starts off with Supergirl crashing into Metropolis, and Batman is skeptical of her at first, and then there's a whole incident of Darkseid abducting her and brainwashing her, and also Wonder Woman is also a key component in the story too, and Big Barda joins along as well. I think Mr. Miracle does too. I can't remember. I don't know. I don't think he does. I think it's just Big Barda. But yeah, this is a really fun movie. It has great action scenes, like Big Barda Woman versus the Furies. That was a dope fight scene. Oh, the Smallville fight scene was fucking dope too. The ending of this movie is changed from the comics, but it's not a drastic change. Yeah, it's just a minor change instead, but it's still really cool. I think the only thing they left out from the comic of any importance was Crypto, but that's not a big deal. Still an excellent movie. This, unfortunately, I have to put into detail. I watched this twice now, and it's not really anything special. This is when Batman and Superman are on the run, and a bunch of superheroes and villains are after them. I can't even remember why they're even targeted anyway. I think maybe Lex Luthor becomes president, and that's why he just declares them enemies of the state, or public enemies, just because these two have been fucking with him for so long. But yeah, them on like all the sequences of them running from hero and enemies just get kind of repetitive over time, and the ending is just so. The art style is whatever too, but it's kind of a forgettable movie. Don't really want to watch this ever again, honestly. Not awful, but just forgettable. Oops. Oops, sorry, I meant to put this in the C tier. So this is the Adventures of Batman and Robin for the Super Nintendo. I have not played this game since the 90s. I've seen some clips of other people playing it and some other people's reviews before I put it on this list. And it looks like it could be decent at the best, bad at the worst. Like worse than I remember. I just remember like dark hallways in this game, like Robin being on the screen, and like Riddler's maze with a Minotaur in it. That kind of creeped me out when I was a kid. But yeah, that was it. Not much I could say since I have not played this shit since the 90s, since whatever year it was that me and my brother rented this from Blockbuster. So just off of personal, what I think it probably will do, I think it probably won't get any higher than a C for me. So I'm just gonna leave it here. I doubt it's anything better than that. Most people forgot about this game. Oh damn, we just keep getting S's in that shit. Batman, the animated series. Actually, I want to move this around a little bit. This should be here. And oops. So Phantasm should be here. Sub-Zero should be here. Actually, I kind of want to put Sub-Zero in front of the Phantasm. Maybe just because it's so fresh in my mind that I want to put it up there. I'll leave it like this for right now. So, Batman the Animated Series. Oh, what can I say about this that hasn't already been said? This is an Emmy award-winning show. Well, I think just the Heart of Ice episode won an Emmy, but the whole show deserved it. This was my first exposure to Batman. Well, actually, the '89 movie was my first exposure to Batman, but this was like my first real, like, foray into Batman as a whole. And what a way to start, man, as a little 90s baby. The storytelling is so good, the animation is dope, the music score is good, it sets up the atmosphere just perfectly. Yeah, really fun show too, man. It doesn't take children's tale just for granted. This show is perfectly good for children and adults alike. It does not dumb anything down. All it does is just leave out blood and stuff like that and profanity. But this is really dope. I'll just say that the first probably half of season 1 isn't that good. There's some boring episodes like the Under Sewer King, and I don't really care for that Man Bat episode either. But after that, the show is top tier. It's S tier. Kevin Conroy is Mark Hamill. Kevin Conroy as Batman, Mark Hamill as the Joker. Great. Arlene Sorkin as Harley Quinn. Fantastic. I hear all their voices in my head whenever I read a comic book. They're the first voices I think in my head when I think of Batman, Joker, and Harley Quinn. Although Tara Strong does a good impersonation of Arlene Sorkin's Harley Quinn too. But man, yeah, so great. I also have to say this show actually established like a lot of like Batman characters going forward. In inventing Harley Quinn, which blew up massively over the years. Like every convention and Halloween, you're seeing girls dress up as Harley Quinn. I still need to get that Harleen comic. And Mr. Freeze was a nobody villain at first until they reestablished him in the show and gave him a good origin story, which this is the blueprint from Mr. Freeze ever since. And then also led to this excellent Sub-Zero movie. And then also Renee Montoya was also creating this show, if I'm not mistaken. And she ended up being a mainstay in the comics, though not to the success of the other two. I think her most notable moment was becoming the Question for a little while. But yeah, some of my favorite episodes. The Laughing Fish, of course. Almost Got Him. That's one of my favorites. The Trial of Batman. I like Clayface's episode is good. Of course, the Mr. Freeze ones. Man, there's so many good episodes. My favorite's probably that Poison Ivy episode. That shit was creepy, man. When it looked like Poison Ivy was the episode where Poison Ivy seemed to retire, that she went legit. Batman wasn't entirely convinced, so he kept tabs on her. She settled down and had a new family. Ended up turning out that her new family was actually like plants. They were made out of plants, and she was stealing like I think chemicals and stuff just to maintain her little family. They would eventually, like after a certain pound of time, they would grow up and turn into like monsters and attack people in the city. It was just a really dark and twisted episode, man. Also really like the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy episode too. That was dope. The New Adventures of Batman. It was pretty good too. Yeah. Best episode is that Harley Quinn one. All right, so that's enough of that. Let me talk about Batman: The Brave and the Bold. I have not seen a lot of this show really, but what I liked, I enjoyed. It's also campy too. It has a whole lot of like Justice League cameos in it, which I kind of wish it was a little bit more focused. But yeah, I think this is based off of like the 50s or 60s comics of the same name. It's an enjoyable show. I'll just leave in the C tier for here right now, just because I have not seen that much of it to give a honest opinion. Good honest opinion. Also in the S tier is The Dark Knight. I don't need to say anything here. Heath Ledger's Joker, good as writing. Harvey Dent Harvey Dent Two-Face, a good ass movie. It is kind of long though. I still feel on rewatches. I do feel this length a little bit. Sometimes I just skip the opening make scene because it's not necessary to the plot, but still a S tier movie. The hype. Oh man, when this movie came out, man, incredible. Incredibly. Oof. The Dark Knight Returns, parts 1 and 2. I read the comic this is based off of too, and this is definitely a good ass story, man. Batman coming out of retirement. He's sick of all this shit. He has to come out here and show these people what's what. Oh man, I love it, and it shows how brilliant a strategist Batman is too. Oh man, and Mark Hamill didn't really like Superman that much. He did make Superman into like this patriotic asshole and shit. But that, oh yeah, people love talking to. This is such an established comic though that everybody talks about the Batman Superman fight in it, which is dope. Yeah, that fight scene was dope. Seeing Batman, old age Batman was dope. And oh, and another thing I wish I like to see more often is Batman's disguises. Batman is also a master of disguise. His disguises in this movies is fucking incredible. I wish we could actually see that in live action someday, man. Like that would be a fucking excellent. Like I want to see Matches Malone on the screen, and just like some other disguises he has too. But oh man, and the Joker scene, man. Joker is pretty cool in there. Though I wish they got a different voice. He doesn't quite sound like Joker, but it's not that bad. It's not bad at all, really. It's not how I feel like he should sound. He sounds kind of weird. But yeah, the Joker scene, man. Like when he goes in the theme park and just shoot up the place, it just felt so dark. It felt like something like those real life spree shootings, man. It was so uncomfortable. But man, yeah, and I like the ending too, man. Oh, one thing else I want to just ask about this movie though. Why does Carrie Kelly in this, the new Robin, why does she look like she stepped out of the 1940s? Them thick ass, square ass glasses and that ridiculous hairstyle. That shit looked like she stepped out of the 1940s. This comic came out in the 80s, but she looked like she from the 40s. Same thing for the new police commissioner. Like, is that her daughter? Are they mother and daughter? Why they look the same? Why they got that same Tommy aesthetic? They don't mention it at all. I gotta know though. I gotta know. Yeah, sorry, that's off tangent, but I just had to bring that up, man. Homegirl looked like Dexter from the 1940s. All right. The Dark Knight Rises. I have not seen this movie since 2012 when this came out. I only watched this movie one time, but I really liked it. I do feel though, like the action sequences got worse. Like this is the worst out of all the Nolan ones. Nolan's fight scenes weren't that good, and Batman Begins, you don't really notice it that much, but in The Dark Knight and Rises especially, you notice them. There's not much else like I say. I know I like this movie, but I can't say if it's S tier because I have not seen this since then. And I didn't like it as much as The Dark Knight, but it's still a really good movie, so I'm gonna leave it in A tier for now. Holy fuck, man, we got so many S's here. Batman: The Long Halloween, parts 1 and 2. These are some good ass movies, man. I love me a good mystery story. This starts out on Halloween where somebody kills a member of the mafia, and it continues throughout the whole span of a year. And Batman's trying to solve his first case right here, his first mystery. So this is early days Batman, and we get to see him. Two-Face, and Selena Kyle, and some other characters in this adventure. It's just so compelling. I like the Archer art style, and the writing is excellent too. The story is so engaging. I love the twist at the end. I heard the twist is different. The killer is different in the comic book, so I gotta read the comic book someday. This was also the comic book that wasn't a sort of an inspiration for The Dark Knight and this upcoming Batman movie. But you know, when the difference between inspiration and based on are completely different. So The Dark Knight was nothing like The Long Halloween, and I suspect this new Batman movie isn't really anything like Year One or The Long Halloween either. One thing, there's a couple of things though that bother me with this movie, but not big enough for me to put it down to A. Is that the beginning part has too much silence in it for a little bit. I feel like you have to use silence sparingly. Like there's no background music or like a lot of sound effects is what I'm talking about. So it makes the dialogue just feel boring like that. A good example of when it's done right was in Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay. I'm not sure if showing a clip out of context would do it for y'all, but how it was used in there when Deadshot was stranded and then the bus pulled up and it was just completely silence. It just gave a feel of a comfortableness and a humor. You got to use it sparingly. You have to use it either to create tension or humor, but it wasn't really. It just made the scene feel boring. I'm going on too long about this for something I don't consider a big deal. But only other issue I have with this too, I think there's one other thing I had an issue. Oh, Poison Ivy. She just sort of showed up, I think. I know there was a little intag, but it wasn't really established. The comic Marley probably expands upon it, but here it just feels like she came out of nowhere. And then the goons at the end, all the villains team up with Two-Face just felt kind of random as well. But it's not a big enough deal. It's still a dope ass movie. One of the best Batman movies, as a matter of fact. I want to skip around a little bit and talk about Batman v Superman. Sorry, this movie sucks, man. That's not an unpopular opinion or anything, but this shit sucks, man. And yes, I have watched both versions of the movie, the regular and what's it called, Ultimate Edition or something. But I watched both versions, and it's still a bad movie. I'm still flabbergasted why they chose Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. And for some reason in 2022, weird motherfuckers on the internet are still claiming that he was Lex Luthor Jr., Lex Luthor's son in this, which I watched the movie twice. There was nothing that said that he was his son. I don't know where motherfuckers are getting that from. I think they're just trying to throw excuses or trying to defend this awful casting choice. Like, y'all don't have to defend anything. The shit is bad. It's just bad. But yeah, oh man. And the movie's plot is kind of all over the place too. The Lois Lane stuff is boring, and she's trying to figure out stuff. And she figures out after the audience already figures this out, so it doesn't make much sense. I will give it the best things about this movie though is the opening scene with Batman riding into the destruction, the Batman warehouse scene, and the Batman and Superman fight, which was kind of undercut though by that whole Martha thing and then the Doomsday thing that followed afterwards, but still dope. Oh, and it still had the Flash, the little Flash and Aquaman scene trying to set up the next Justice League movie so bad when they didn't need to. That held it down a lot too. Sort of like Avengers Age of Ultron, but I still say that Age of Ultron is a better movie than this. Yeah, I will give it. Ben Affleck has the best looking Batsuit. He looks the most Batman out of anybody. It's just unfortunate that he hasn't been in any good adaptations. This Batman also kills too. He fucking shoots people and shot a dude's flamethrower backpack and caused him to explode and crushed that dude's head when he threw a box at him against the wall. Like his head went smacked against the wall and there was a trail of blood behind him. He killed that dude. But yeah, bad movie. God damn. Look at this S taking up most of this slot here. Oof. Batman Under the Red Hood, another really good movie. This is the origin of the Red Hood villain. I don't think this is a spoiler because this is like in the premise of the opening movie and it's just like common knowledge at this point. Joker ended up killing Batman's second Robin, which was Jason Todd, and then he comes back as the villain Red Hood, and we get to see him really go on to take his vengeance on the town and against Batman too. It's just a really cool story. That fight scenes are dope in this. The animation is cool, and it's also kind of heartbreaking too, just seeing the ending of this too. It also established that Batman is probably kind of crazy, because his whole reason for not wanting to kill a Joker is he feel like he'll get a taste for killing, and like he wouldn't be able to stop himself if that's really the issue then. Just killing one dude who really deserves it will cause you to go on a killing spree like Mr. Zaz or one of these other rogues in your gallery means to me that there might be something kind of wrong with you, Bruce. But yeah, a really good movie, man. One of the best. Like any of these movies right here, I would not argue with somebody saying it's their favorite or the best. I had this at A at first, but I honestly think this is a B movie. It's still a good movie, but after rewatching it recently, it's not as good as I had thought though, but it's still good. I like seeing the Court of Owls, and Dollmaker was cool too. What a creepy villain, and Weird Al voices him. But yeah, I just think the usage of the Court of Owls is not as intricate. Then this was what's stopping it from getting an A ranking. But it's still very fun. This is probably my favorite use of Damian Wayne in this, because normally he's annoying, but he's still kind of annoying in this, but it's not as bad as other iterations like in the Teen Titans movies or in Son of Batman. Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was so surprised about this. I heard this a little while ago, and I remember watching Black Nerd Comedy's review of this, and I decided to rent it. This is a really good movie. This is with Batman going up against the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and teaming up with them. It's just a fun movie, man. Seeing the Batman characters interact with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was fun. And the Batman versus Shredder fight was also dope too. Since it had TMNT in here, I expected it to be less violent, but it actually still has some blood in here, and I think there was a decapitation too. I heard there's multiple Batman and TMNT comics, so hopefully they'll make another one soon. Fingers crossed on that. Man, I'm starting to get tired of here. There's a lot of these movies and shit. Batman Year One. This is a pretty good movie. Yeah, the only thing I don't like is the guy they got for Bruce Wayne. He just sounds kind of weird to me. But otherwise, this is a good adaptation of the Year One comic. I didn't like this at first. I thought it was just okay at first, just because it's so similar to the source material. I think it's almost exactly like it. To a T, but and I read the Year One comic so much too, but this is still a really good movie. It does a good job. I think it could have did some of the scenes a little bit better, but yeah, I still highly recommend this to anyone. This is also one of the inspirations for the upcoming Batman movie. I think there's also an inspiration for Batman Begins too, but still, these are still very different movies. Should this go in C or B? I don't know. I kind of really like this. I'm putting this in B. So, Batman Brave and the Bold and Scooby-Doo. So, I watched this. This is a little recent watch for me. I watched this maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. So this is when Batman and the Scooby-Doo... Well, Batman recruits the Scooby-Doo gang into his own detective agency, which I didn't know he had. Which consists of himself, the Question, which I love to see. Is that the same Question from the Justice League Unlimited? It sounds like him. Who else is in it? Detective Chimp, which is a character I forget about a lot. And Black Canary, who I never thought was a detective, but I don't know much about her. And Aquaman also shoves his way into this as well. But yeah, the dynamic between the two characters is really fun to watch. And the mystery is cool too. I do feel like the movie drags a bit towards the end. I think the same case with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Well, I think it's probably a little worse here, but still a fun ride. I definitely recommend it. Son of Batman is just okay. Not much I can say about this. It was nice seeing the origins of Damian Wayne. It's still weird that who wrote this origin for? I want to say Frank Miller. I hope it's not Frank Miller. But I don't know why the author thought that why I don't know, he said he thought I heard something. Anyway, he forgot that Talia didn't drug Batman when he conceived a child with Talia. When Talia conceived a child with Bruce Wayne. I'm just thinking here, why did you think that he did do that in the original comic? And I think it was called Son of Batman. Not Son of Batman, Son of the Demon. But that was kind of weird, and Batman isn't kind of upset about it. Yeah, the story is fine, the writing is fine, the action is pretty good. I just don't like Damian beating Deathstroke. I feel like he shouldn't be. Damian's only 10 years old at this time. He should not be able to beat like one of the world's greatest assassins. Yeah, at least not alone he shouldn't be. But whatever, it's a minor gripe. Still a decent movie. I'm not sure if I should put this in C or D. I think I'll put this in D. The Batman is not that good. It's just not. I watched this twice or 2 or 3 times before. Well, not in this whole entirety, because I don't like wasting time watching shit that I don't like. I don't hate watch. I don't know why I hate watching the thing. We have so much time on this little earth that I don't want to spend time watching stuff that I don't like. And the Batman is one of those things. It's not entirely bad. It has probably about 4 episodes that I will go back and rewatch, but 4 episodes out of like a 4-season show, that's just not a good show to me. I'm trying to think of the top of my head of what are the 4 episodes I like. I think the episode is called Clay Faces, where I think that the detective ends up tragically being turned into Clayface. There's a good Scarface episode, I think. The episode where he goes into Joker's mind, and I can't think of what else. There's another one. I can't think of it right now. For years I didn't even know there was a 4th season that introduced like the Justice League members in the show. But I did go back and try to watch some of that. I wasn't really missing out on anything. The show also added in Harley Quinn way too late to me. But yeah, some people say the show is underrated, but I say it's not. It's not really worth watching. I do think that Joker's Mind episode is probably something you should definitely watch, and maybe that Clayface episode too. But yeah, 4 episodes out of 4-season show is not a good show to me. And the last in the C is the Lego Batman movie. This is actually like a parody movie, man. It makes fun of a lot of Batman's tropes over the years. It's definitely a lighthearted, charming movie, campy movie. See, once again, this is how you do camp. Unlike Batman and Robin, it just went too far. Only children can enjoy those movies. Unlike the Lego Batman or Batman Brave and the Bold. Yeah, this actually has some meat to it. And he also, Joker sounds kind of weird in this, but it's not that big of a deal for this type of movie anyway. Oh, and they also do that. They also have some fan service in here. Like, a lot of fans over the years have been saying that Batman and Joker are gay for each other, and they actually made that like a whole plot line of the entire. That's actually the plot line of the entire movie. It's so funny. I can't believe they actually did that. But I do say that the movie drags on a bit at the end, which holds it down. And some of the jokes don't land, but most of the jokes do, though. But I can't put it higher than a C. It's a high C, though. I would think. I don't know. Would I watch Gotham Knight before I watch the Lego Batman movie again? I'm not sure. Cape Crusaders is definitely at the end, though. I'll put this here. I'll put this here just because I haven't played it in a while. But yeah, so this is my tier list. I end up having more S's than anything, which is a surprise, but Batman is just that Batman is just that good of a character. He's an S tier character, so most of his content going to be S tier. I can't wait to see where this new Batman movie is going to do. I'm going to go see it on Tuesday, March 1st, because I got these advance tickets. Still trying to get rid of this second ticket. Hit me up if you might be interested in that if you're in the DC area. And yeah, also let me know how y'all will rank these. You can probably add some stuff if you have watched some other stuff or played some other Batman games. I have not watched Gotham or Batwoman or Pennyworth. Like, gosh, I just forgot about that. There was a Pennyworth show. I logged into HBO Max one day, and there's a fucking Pennyworth show. I completely forgot about it. Like, actually, I'm not even sure if I even realized when it came out at first. Like, I remember hearing words about one being made, but I never really actually. I don't think I actually heard of like when it dropped, and it actually had 2 seasons. But who was asking for an Alfred show? I could see the argument now with people saying there's too many comic book movies or shows now, because it really an Alfred Pennyworth show. It's whatever though. I'm currently listening to the Batman audio adventures, so I can't rank that right now until I finish it. I do like some of it right now, but not a lot of it. So it'll probably end up somewhere in C or D for me in the end. But yeah, those are my rankings. So yeah, let me know how y'all will rank yours in the comments below, and let me know if y'all also going to see the Batman when it comes out this week. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.